everybody, EJ here, and I am super excited to share with you this new script for After Effects called Boil It. And what can it do? Well, I'm going to tell you. Boil It is going to be your all-in-one solution for quickly and easily applying animated custom boil effects to your After Effects animations. Now, boil is like that rolling animated boil that is super popular in 2D animation these days. So you're going to be able to save time by applying custom animated boil to any selected layers all at once in your comp, or comp wide as an adjustment layer with a single click of a button. Now, this is going to allow you to never waste time writing any kind of complicated expressions for boil again. And if you're like me, you never want to touch expressions unless you really need to. So this is just going to streamline and speed up your process of working with boil in your animation. So let's go ahead and just start demoing what this can do. So you're going to find Boil It in your window drop down, and we have two options here. We got the Boil It and we have Boil It Effect. And I'm just going to load up both of these, and these are both dockable, so we can just dock them into our little docking area over here, and we have this nice and neat over here. So first thing I'm going to do is go over the Boil It options here, this Boil It field. So what we can do is any selected layers, and notice I'm selecting the globe layer first and then selecting everything underneath it. What we can do is apply boil to any selected layers, or we can just check the adjustment layer mode and it will just create an adjustment layer with all the boil options we have filled out here. So before we apply it, we can actually fine tune how we want to have our boil act. So we can adjust the interval. So this is how fast our boil will go. So this will happen every 4 frames. And we can also adjust the strength, the size, complexity, the type of noise we use, the type of boil. And then we have this handy separate property option that I'll go over a little bit later. So let's just go ahead, and I like all these settings. Maybe I'll just speed this up a little bit and have this boil happen every 2 frames. And I'll go ahead, and I got all of my layers selected that I want to apply the boil to. Click the magic button. Boom. I'm going to hit E. And what you're going to notice is that the object I selected first is going to hold all of the effect controls. And all those boil effects are also going to be mimicked on all of my other selected layers. So this is where the separate property comes in handy. If you don't want that, if you actually want to be able to control individual properties like strength, random seed might be one of those things you want to actually have a separate property for. Just select that, and what that will do is apply boil, but then each of your other layers you have selected, you can hone in and choose. So if you did select random seed, you can go in and hone and apply different random seeds to each of your other boil layers. So that allows a total control over fine-tuning specific properties on a per layer basis. So super, super handy. So what we can do now is, again, all of these properties are linked because we did not choose separate properties. So we can RAM preview this and see how our boil looks. And right now it's pretty subtle. So what we can do is crank up the strength to say 15 or say 20. And we got the boil going even more. We can adjust the boil size to say 20. And now we can really see some boil action going on. We can slow this down to maybe every 4 frames. So we can see that rolling boil happen. And another thing I want to mention is all of these icons here are Cinema 4D Lite models. So these actually come included with Boil It. So you get some fun free models that you can then play with and kind of mess around with in Cineware and apply boil to them inside of After Effects. So super, super fun stuff to be able to play around with all these fun 3D models in After Effects. So we can adjust the seed here if we want to adjust the seed there. We can adjust the displacement. So many things we can control. We can unpin all the sides. So tons of like layer level control on every single thing here. So you can see how much this is really going to speed up your workflow. And on top of that, you can see as I'm like applying and adjusting the boil here, of course, when you apply effects in After Effects, it's gonna kind of bog down your RAM previewing. So usually when you get your boil all set up and you like the look of it, you probably want to turn it off and just turn it back on right before you go to render, right? So that's why we have this very handy boil effect controller. So what we can do now is say, you know what? All layers in my composition, let's just turn the boil effect off. And what that did was just turned off all the boil effects, and now we can have very speedy RAM preview. So we can go ahead and turn the effect on again, and that'll turn all of our boil effects back on, or we can just go ahead and just delete the effect altogether. And we can also just do this on selected layers as well. So we have a ton, so that's just another level of control you have using the Boil-it script. So that's basically it. So again, you can link or unlink the boil properties here to be able to have even more levels of control on your individual layers with boil on it. You can again speed up and optimize your workflow with the ability to turn effects on and off on all layers or just selected layers using the boil effect control. And as the added bonus, you get all 9 of these super fun Cinema 4D Lite compatible 3D models that you can bring into After Effects using Cineware, and you get them all included with your purchase of Boil-it. So that's basically it. If you have any questions, be sure to hit me up in the comments or email me, but this is going to solve all of your boil animation problems. It's going to simplify your workflow. You're going to really allow your work to stand out and really streamline that workflow and speed everything up, make boiling super, super easy. So that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy the Boil-it.